friends, do you know where I am today? You got it. I'm in Abba's garden, right by the barn door where Noah's Ark is. And we're going to read a story today about Noah's Ark and how the rainbow came. Are you ready? The name of our book is Noah's Ark. See the picture of Noah's Ark here? With all the animals on it. A long, long time ago, God looked down on the world and frowned. He wasn't at all pleased with what he saw. The world was no longer the beautiful place he had made. Everything he looked, everywhere he looked, he saw fighting and people being unkind. Oh no. The world needs a new start, decided God. I will send a flood to wash away all the wickedness, and I will ask Noah to help me, because Noah was such a good man. God knew that Noah was a good and honest man who loved God. He worked hard for his family and was kind to even the tiniest of creatures. See the butterfly? God knew that Noah was the perfect person to help him with his plan. So God spoke to Noah. At first Noah was afraid, but when he heard God's kind words, he listened carefully. Noah, said God, I have something very important to tell you. I'm going to wash the world clean with a great flood, then start all over again. Every living thing will be washed away, but you and your family will be saved, and that's because they listened to God. You must build a big, strong ark and fill it with every kind of animal you can find. There was no time to lose. Noah went to find his toolbox at once. Then Noah rushed off to tell his family what God had said. They all loved God as much as Noah did, so they got to work right away. As they cut down trees and started to saw and hammer away, people came to see what they were doing. God told me to build an ark to save us from the great flood, explained Noah. Ha ha ha, laughed the others. You must be crazy. You're wasting your time. Why don't you come and have fun with us instead? Noah refused to listen to them. He worked harder and harder. He worked day after day and year after year. He knew he was doing God's work. See, that's his ark right there. After many long years, Noah tapped into a final nail and stood back to admire his work. The ark was finally finished. It's all very well, scoffed a passerby, but what use is a boat without water? For the boat was sitting on dry land. You'll see, replied Noah. There's plenty of room for you if you want to come aboard when God floods the world. You're completely crazy, laughed another person. Only a madman would spend all these years building a boat without water. Everyone laughed at Noah and carried on with their sinful ways. But Noah didn't mind. He still had work to do. It was time to load the ark with all the supplies they would need for a long voyage. As Noah and his family carried food, water, and piles of warm bedding into the ark, they suddenly heard a loud sound. What was that? Asked Noah. Everyone stopped and looked around. At first, they couldn't see anything. Then dust began to rise, and the ground began to shake. Look, cried Noah's wife, pointing. There in the distance they could just make out a pair of woolly sheep, and behind them came a pair of striped zebras. Behind them was a pair of prancing horses. The animals were coming. Soon every animal you could possibly imagine, and a few you couldn't, were streaming into the ark. All aboard, called Noah as his wife checked each one off the list. Noah was almost ready to slam the door shut when he noticed that a crowd was watching. People from far and wide had come to laugh at crazy Noah. It's not too late. Save yourselves and climb aboard before the rain starts, cried Noah. But that just made the crowd laugh even more. They all thought Noah and his family were crazy to crowd into a boat. And with all those noisy, smelly animals, they roared with laughter. as Noah struggled to get the last animals aboard and close the door of the ark. Almost immediately, clouds filled the sky and the first drops of rain began to fall. It rained and it rained and it rained. Soon water began to flood the land around the ark. Lightning flashed and thunder crashed. The wind howled and waves crashed against the side of the ark. One enormous wave lifted the ark clear off the ground and carried it away. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Water covered the world until there was no dry land left. Oh, that would be pretty scary. The ark was tossed around by the waves, but it refused to sink. Inside, Noah and his family were too busy to be afraid. There were animals to feed and beds to clean. Noah always found the time to make sure that even the smallest animal felt safe and calm. "Don't worry," he told them. "God will take care of us." Sure enough, God hadn't forgotten them, and one day a warm wind began to blow and the rain stopped. Very soon the water began to go down. Then after 150 days of calm seas, there was a loud bump, followed by a scraping sound. It's kind of like what we're going through right now, huh? The ark had come to rest on the top of the mountain called Ararat. Noah and his family peered out anxiously. "When can we get off?" asked his sons. "The animals are getting very rowdy." Noah just smiled. "God will give us a sign when it is time," he said. Many long weeks passed. Then Noah decided to send out a dove to search for dry land. All day everyone waited anxiously for the bird to return. Finally, the dove came back with a fresh olive branch in its beak. "This is a sign from God that the water has gone down," cried Noah, clapping excitedly. "It's time to leave the ark." Noah and his sons pushed against the ark door until it burst open. There was a stampede as the animals poured out in sunshine. They were delighted to be free at last. They couldn't wait to find homes and fill the world with new life once more. See them all coming out? Noah and his wife were so glad that they had made it safely through the flood. As they watched the animals leave, they looked up into the sky joyfully. "Thank you, God, for keeping us safe," they cried. What do you think they saw? Suddenly, an amazing striped and arch filled the sky. It was the world's very first rainbow. Then God spoke to Noah again. "Do you see this rainbow?" asked God. "This is the sign of my promise to you and all the animals that I will never again send a flood and wash away the world. Every time it rains, a rainbow will appear to remind you of my promise and of my love for the world." And you can notice whenever it rains, there's always a rainbow. So next time it rains, look in the sky to see if you can find the rainbow. From that day on, God was true to his word. He never sent another flood, and Noah and his family lived happily in their bright new world. Aren't you glad he did that? And what a pretty rainbow that is. And that's what we have on our barn doors. We have Noah's Ark, the rainbow, and all the animals. That's such a good God we have. But thank you so much for listening to Noah's Ark. I love you, and I'm looking forward to reading to you again. But remember, next time you see a rainbow, it's a promise from God, even in Abba's garden. I love you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye.